Hello, everyone, and welcome to hell.
You're gonna have to edit.
Skylar is up over there on the right, like usual. Chandler's over there, and holy shit, dude, this was not good. This was one of the worst things we've watched on the podcast since Chandler. Actually, I'm speaking for you guys. I've said I'm just speaking. I've not heard any of their opinions. I'm a couple drinks in. I do not condone alcohol. However, I hated this. This sucked. I'm going to jump right into it. I hated this movie so much. How have you guys been this week?
My apartment's actually been an absolute disaster all week. And I've had the maintenance guy here every day for the last 4 days trying to get hot water. Finally got it. Yeah, missing it since Tuesday night was my last really hot shower. On pretty much Wednesday, got it for a time. I got enough for one shower, like Wednesday night. Thursday morning didn't have it. And then like Thursday, like 2:00, I had enough for like one more shower, and then it's kind of been downhill since. And it's finally fixed now. My kitchen's only been flooded twice in those 4 days. Yeah, only.
This because of the fact that at that you were talking about how many problems you were having with your apartment.
I'm not done. And then today, when they're doing the maintenance, they find out there's a crack in my washer and dryer, and they need to be replaced. So that's going on Monday, so I can't wash my clothes until Monday.
Nice.
Wow.
When everyone usually does it on the weekend, so you're probably fine.
Yeah, I always do it I always do it today.
If it makes you feel
yeah, so it's been
it went pretty smoothly.
I'm glad. I tried to do mine and I flooded my kitchen, so not as smoothly.
Is it like bad, like mildewy bad, or
well, I wipe it up like immediately, so it doesn't.
okay.
Yeah, I haven't left my kitchen a bond.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
He's just using
what is?
well, and then walks away.
He said it flooded the past couple of days. So what if you came back and it was flooded? Or you woke up and
it was flooded. I literally woke up one morning, went to make a coffee. I had socks on, and I stepped in my kitchen, instantly soaked.
You see, I don't know how long it takes for mildew to like activate or show up. Like if I leave clothes in the laundry for like a day or two, then they smell. But it's just bringing your kitchen every day. So you wouldn't let it flood that long.
This doesn't sound like a whole lot of Until Dawn talking.
This is more entertaining than Until Dawn, right? Let's be real.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know. We've heard my opinion, Chandler's opinion. Skylar, what'd you think?
Dude, I didn't think it was that bad. I
still have yet to give my opinion.
All right.
But I want that to speak. Go Sky, you can go Sky, but I don't want what I said to be my opinion.
So I watched this movie with Lily at like 9:00 at night, and she didn't know anything about the movie. And the first 30 minutes, she looked at me, got mad, and said, "This is a scary movie. Why didn't you warn me?" And then proceeded to jump scare.
After the first 30 minutes, I got spooked after like the first 3, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to listen.
Did you get
I got
spooked at all? This was the most like.
I didn't say I did.
This was scary, bro. This was
the most tensionless, like, because they don't even die, because there's no tension at all. The only possible scare is if you got scared by the jump scares, but all of them were the most, like, cliche, stereotypical, like, predictable garbage ever. I hate it. Like, I couldn't. Sky, go ahead. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
So whenever I was watching this movie, I got kind of like reminded of the game at certain points, and I started like remembering certain acts that I actually did take and certain decisions that I did make. And I will say that was kind of nice because, again, I haven't played this game in 3 years, and I still kind of remembered. And I also kind of like how I'm skipping all the way to the end. I kind of like how at the end they had the like little log cabin for the second movie. In the second game, because I also played that one, so that was kind of cool to see as well. At least that's what I think it was. I'm pretty sure. But
that's not really not a. I want to talk about that once you're done, actually, so we don't forget.
You can go ahead.
Or no, okay, I mean, that log cabin at the very end, I'm pretty sure wasn't that for the game? Wasn't that like teasing? Because isn't that the log cabin?
Isn't this the story of the game?
It isn't. So this whole time I thought it was trying to reenact the game. It's not. It's its own whole story because remember whenever the guy drinks that cup of coffee and blows up? On his desk are some documents, and one of the guys' name was Joshua. He is the owner of that log cabin. So I think it's foreshadowing the next patient, victim, whatever he called him. I'm pretty sure because like all the cameras change. I think that's the new setting, and that is the game.
So wait,
So
his little setting wasn't in the game at all. Little house with the book that wasn't in the game.
the house,
Like they spent the movie in.
yeah, that whole thing's on the game. That was
Not in the game at all. Then why did they?
no. Yeah, so I was really confused the whole time. It took me a long time. I was gonna say, the guy that's like with the cameras, and he was like what that general store selling at the cashier.
Yeah.
Okay, he's in the game. He is what exactly you see him as, like with all those TV screens. I didn't realize like I'm such a bad person because I literally didn't realize that until the movie had practically ended.
How is that
It's like-
a bad person?
Because immediately when she went to the store and was looking for her sister, I knew, I know he's a famous actor. I recognize him, right, for that reason. But I recognized his voice and just his style. I knew of him, and I just couldn't put two and two together that he was from the damn game. I'm so stupid, bro. I'm actually stupid.
He was the main bad guy the second they saw him due to the audio cue, the fact that he said something weird, and also
Yeah.
the only other character in the movie.
Yes. Scott, do you want to continue with what you said because we're gonna go on a tangent and we'll never finish with your opinion.
What was it? I just thought it was like definitely slow at some points, but whenever like I kind of did enjoy how it wasn't just we died, jump scare. Like at least there were clues and like things to try and figure out, like the end
But there was
goal.
figure out because they got told that the things change, but we never figured out why the things happen in the way that they do. The rule system, like
They made up so much stuff, by the way.
it didn't make any sense. Like I the entire time they tried to explain like certain things, so then I tried to use that to explain away the other stuff, and I was like, this doesn't compute. So like, how does he control the time loop? I understand that he's testing them and he's like trying to make them turn into Wendigos. For why? Don't know. He's science man. He's trying to test them. And then how does him testing have any? How does the time loop exist? Like, how did that come out of things? How does he stay consistent within that time loop? How did the town come back periodically throughout the different time loops? Why does it reset whenever a new group of people get in there? Oh my God, it hurt watching the movie. And the entire time I was sitting there just like, I could be watching Sinners. I could be watching Sinners right now. I'm here in the movie, watching this really boring movie that doesn't make sense. And I hated it. I was so...
Were your theaters packed?
I had 4 people in it.
Mine was pretty full.
Yeah, mine was full. I had so many people.
I heard this is selling pretty well, so I'm not shocked by that at all.
Yeah, I think it's probably because there's so many PlayStation fans out there.
Like 4 couples in my theater.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I think just probably because it's a PlayStation IP. I don't remember the game being that popular. They did remaster it, so maybe like they knew. I mean, they made a movie, so they must have.
Well, I knew you,
I will.
but I didn't know anything other than that.
Yeah, I would love to bring up the game, but then again, like, that's not really relevant anymore since I think this movie is its own entity. Like,
But I think it's relevant because it has the name.
Yeah.
okay, we can go over the synopsis of the game, but the whole idea about the time loop, all those monsters, that's not in the game. The time loop doesn't exist unless you say you can restart your save. Like, that's the time loop.
I'm gonna have to say a theory. Whenever I finished the movie, G was like, "So if the time loop's not in the game, like, what is the game? Because the entire movie was the time loop. And I said, what I'm assuming is that someone behind the creative team played the game a couple times, got a couple different endings, and was like, oh, I liked all of these endings. So what I'm going to do is make a movie that's like, instead of having different endings, it's like a time loop kind of thing that we can experience all of the endings. So like, was the different experiences that they experienced something that happened in the game if you chose different things, or was it just nothing that mattered?
In the game, the big concept.
What the fuck?
Yes. And that's possible in the game. In the game,
Technically,
that is
technically,
Oh,
they died a lot.
actually.
I know they all died like a lot of times,
Yeah.
technically. And all the people before them that are now Wendigos, technically also dead.
Yeah.
Because they got splattered.
You're right.
Wait, that's
And the Titan
got it.
die.
was that. No,
I want to talk about that final.
he came out dead.
He exploded on screen. I'm counting it.
Yeah, the explosion part is so stupid because that's not even a game at all. They entirely made that up. There's no way.
One part I liked.
It was
Okay,
goofy.
that's how
actually kind of crazy as it hurt.
But the first time I saw it, that was dumb.
The first, when it happened to that guy, I was like, okay, because I wasn't expecting that. That was weird. And then they
It's very gory.
They made her inflate in her stomach area, and I was like, that's someone's fetish. I don't like this. This is upsetting to me. I don't know why they decided to make it.
Kind of looked the way it inflated. She looked pregnant.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
people were. Someone on the creative team was like, we're gonna torture her. We're gonna torture her, you know. And I'm just gonna have this time to make this thing that I like. That's 100% what happened. Everyone else just exploded immediately. It was really weird.
Yeah, because her leg blew off first, and then it was her stomach,
And she got.
and that's still gonna kill her.
That was something that G said. Like, that lady specifically died in the most horrific ways throughout every single iteration. Yeah, it was terrible.
She was possessed, blown up.
The guy smacked her face into the ground until she died, while everyone else just got chopped up.
She
And
was
the Wendigo
tied up. Yeah, the Wendigo did something. We don't off-screen death, right? And then when she was tied to the chair, those are all pretty horrifying.
Yeah.
I will say the Wendigo, like the whole Wendigo concept, how you deteriorate slowly and become a Wendigo, that is in the game. They do show that, but in the game, it's a little weird. I don't know. I'm a little confused trying to the stories. How you become Wendigo?
Yeah, when you say Wendigoon, that's the YouTuber. It's
Oh, Wendigo. Oh, my bad.
But I know of the Wendigo, and I also took a class in like mythology in college. I can't believe I'm just saying that. I don't mean that like to sound like an aficionado or something, but like they sat down and taught me about the Wendigo, and I just don't like this interpretation of it because like the way that I interpreted it is like they're turning into different monsters, and the different monsters are the Wendigo, but like the Wendigo is supposed to be just like an ethereal spirit that like takes over someone and heightens some form of greed, whether that be like related to money, food, lust, etc. Like it just is. I don't know. They didn't.
I get you. They look like more like goals to me than anything.
Yeah, and they were
Like Fallout
they were
4.
a giant big monster. Like what the fuck?
That was that's
That was the budget of the.
That was
movie
new.
right there.
or what about, remember whenever they're looking through all the camera
Oh, fuck's that!
videos and then that guy like elongated or whatever that was.
Hated.
I think the whole
I hate
the whole time
pulled out his
whole
fucking
time
phone.
yeah.
That little area, that like 10-minute portion where they had the twist. I sat there and I was like, this is one of the worst movies I've seen in the theater.
Wait.
I hated.
Wait. Can you clarify the twist? You mean like a time
Like
skip?
it's not actually been five.
Oh yeah,
It's been
yeah.
13. What the?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because like the whole time you watch them and then you see each name, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all of a sudden they're 13, which
Because they realized, oh shit, there's no tension in this movie. Holy fuck, we're gonna do something about that.
could just keep dying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of rewriting what they did, because like that could have worked. Like if the first one, the next time we saw them, it was like 4 in. The time after that, it was like 5 in. Time after that, it was like 10 in or something like that. That could have worked. But nope, they went from 5 to 13, and I was like, okay.
What?
Or They could have just made it 5.
Yeah, I was saying, why? That's 13. That makes, yeah.
That was one of my biggest things that I like. Whenever I left the theater, I was like, okay, I hate how, first of all, they just cut like 8 nights. Because that's 8 different things that could have been, quote unquote, somebody's favorite scene in this movie. Completely gone.
They just
Second, yeah, they could have just changed it and just made it 5 and just changed the notebook to make it 5. And they would all fit on like 2 pages to like 4. It would have been less flipping.
dude, what?
Oh,
The phone and was like, these are all the things you could have seen. This is crazy.
before I forget, Chan. So do you remember? Well, actually, this is for both of you. Do you remember how you saw the werewolf on the desk with the one drawing, and then the cabin at the end?
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember how I thought that was related to the next game, and I couldn't think of the name. The name is The Quarry, and The Quarry, the main ones are werewolves, and it's
Right.
placed in a cabin. That's what I was trying to say, but I could not think of it.
To the mine that exploded
I
at this town.
never played Quarry. I've never played Quarry, but I've heard that it was meant to be the sequel, but it isn't, right?
I don't think it is. No.
Yeah, it was meant to be, and it's just like its own whole story. So maybe somehow it's related.
Quarries are
all Okay,
She was into a wolf at one point. She had long nails and there's teeth coming out.
that's the goal. That's the goal side for her. Like she's
Oh, okay.
becoming the Wendigo. That's what that meant. Okay, so then you're right, completely right, Sky. My fault then. Okay, but this still isn't the game. I will say that there was a document, so I'm assuming the game takes place before this movie, and that cabin isn't the cabin.
Are isn't the characters correct? Like
None of these characters in the game. None of these characters are the same.
Something like that.
That's like
But, holy shit!
it's its own whole story.
Fucking
Yeah,
like that was so.
it's its own. It's its own story.
That's
and it's still so different from the first game. I actually thought it was a really cool story. One of the guys, or the way you find out who the Wendigo is, it is also another family member of the people being tormented. And it was really kind of cool. Like they there's actually a couple Easter eggs that referred to that. So remember the one scene where she had like a silver necklace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find out in the game that the Wendigo is her sister, the character's sister in the game, because she's still wearing the silver necklace, which is what she gave to her sister, returning to Wendigo. So there were some Easter eggs, especially like one where the girl who kept getting tormented the most, she had a butterfly necklace, which refers to the butterfly effect, which is
A huge part.
super big. Yeah, that the whole part of the first game is the butterfly effect. You make one choice, it affects everything else, and you see it. Like if you forget to pick up something and move on to the next scene, the top right, you know how you'll see a save icon? It'll give you a butterfly icon, like, oops, you did something or you didn't, so now the game's going to be different. And you didn't get any of that from you. They literally just like, all right, restart.
I was just about to interject and say there was no butterfly effect because whatever you did in each of these iterations did not go into the next one.
Bro, they forgot. They really forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not true. At the beginning with the clock, with like the clock, they were like, did you flip it? That's the same iteration. But then earlier on in the first one, the girl turns on the water and nothing comes out. And then in the scene where they drink, she's like, wait, there's no water.
Okay, it was different, but they didn't change anything, you know? Like, it wasn't like they did something in one iteration. Things were just happening to them, you know?
Yeah.
Some ghost was controlling the house to some degree. Or this guy was he had a little switch that was like, all right, the water's off for this one. All right, let's see what happens if I turn the water on. Or something like that. I don't fucking know.
Honestly, Zach, I would love to explain the game, but I think you should play the game yourself and
Not to a lot.
don't let this movie ruin it for you, because
This game is much better than the movie.
this movie just
No.
really,
So,
because the first game is actually very mysterious.
yeah.
What were you gonna say? Because
I was going to explain my process of watching movies. I usually don't talk about my opinions with G until we get to the car, because I'm embarrassed about people listening to me like dissect a movie. The movie ended, I stood up immediately and started walking out. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a very long time since I've been that upset. I was completely dead silent from the theater to when we got home. And then I sat down and she said something like, "Oh, do you think Sky's going to like it?" And I said, "I would be fucking shocked if anyone liked that movie." And then she was like, "I didn't think it was that bad." And I said,
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I agree with G.
"That's fair."
I
G likes every movie though. I sat there and I looked up at her and I said, "That was one of the worst movies I've watched in a long time. And I do not recall a worse movie I've ever watched in theaters the entire way through." And I
Baker too.
what? I've
Joker did too with mine.
theaters.
I did.
It is the worst movie I've seen since Joker 2, without a doubt. That's kind of what I said to her. But
That and the Joker 2 is still below it.
yeah, it still is below.
Yeah.
It still is definitely below it. Like there's Joker 2 actively ruined things. This like just was a really bad time. What question did you ask me? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say like the game is definitely different, and it's very entertaining because there's two like you already know about the Wendigos that is in the game, and that's a mystery at first because you don't actually something's kind of spying on everyone, all the people at the cabin, and it's like an ominous force, but you don't know until later. Now you do because of the movie. There's also someone else. There's something else. Not the guy with the sledgehammer, which I have a huge issue with. I hate the guy with the sledgehammer.
I hated that guy.
We'll touch on that. But that person was actually supposed to represent the other mysterious figure in the game. But the mysterious figure in the game, it's not the same as this guy. And I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna say anything about
until they weren't. You know?
Well, who was it? They never show the face. I'm gonna get smashed at the end.
They're beast. You know?
So in the game,
It was somebody.
This figure is supposed to be like something from the game, I think, because they both play similar roles. But in the game, this person, I'm sorry, Zach, I'm going to spoil the game for you a little bit.
I'm never playing the game.
It's actually the host of the cabin invites his friends over, but he did it as a prank, and so he's secretly kind of scaring them, kind of kidnapping. Well, not kidnapping them, but like locking them up and putting them through like shitty situations just as a prank. It's a fucked up prank. But he never kills anyone. You know what I'm talking about? The Joshua dude?
Yeah, but
He never kills anyone.
yeah, it was that. Did you play it? You didn't play the Quarry, right?
I never played Corey.
Okay, so it is Until Dawn, because I like get the two mixed up because they're essentially like the same game, different story, and like butterfly effect, so I get them mixed up. But yeah, Zach, I'm gonna spoil it for you and anybody who else watches this. The prank is, don't they get one of the girls to like seemingly hook up with one of the guys, and they like before anything actually happens, they like bust down the door with the camera, and they're like,
Not quite. You're close. They put a gun in. They have tied two people up and put a gun on the table, and it's either shoot yourself or shoot the other. And butterfly effect, regardless, if you shoot someone, it's blank. But he comes out of the shadows like, haha, just a prank, guys. You weren't going to kill each other. And then the Wendigo comes around and kind of actually
saying that.
But, sorry, the Wendigo.
You picture a really nice Southern guy with a beard popping in, saying like, "Hello, guys, I'm going to talk to you about JFK now."
No.
Yeah, but I do remember him information because I keep saying Wendigo. I do remember being one of the actual like people on the trip because I played this game with Skylar, and we really liked Until Dawn until we found out that it wasn't like one of the people there or like the owner, and we didn't like whenever the Wendigos actually Wendigo. Correct. Jana's mirror.
You didn't say N, you just said Wendigo. Like you're about to
So you're saying good, you know?
Wendigo.
But we didn't like whenever that joined the story because we thought it was so much better that it was a person.
Yeah.
Like, and
I would never have expected that.
Yeah, but we wanted it to be like, oh, it's just a prank, like with Joshua,
yeah.
And then have like somebody else who actually got there and they thought it was still him, but that isn't what happened. And it's not what happened in this movie. I kind of took the clown mask guy as somebody who was on the board, just because like they kind of conveyed him. They forcibly kind of connected them. I mean, they threw it's a Clover. they threw her sister in there all the time. So I just assumed that all of them connected because of that. And they like took time to show each face on the board.
Yeah.
So
It was David Sandberg, the director of the movie.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, that's David. I know this guy. He directed.
after that, it went down from then it went downhill every time after that. Every minute after, you
Just
slowly
the
got
explosion scene in which I was like, I'm awake, and then he goes back to sleep. No, I'm kidding.
I do want to say that I think I'm looking at my notes now.
I just I can start hitting my notes if you want me to.
You probably don't have to. I think I got the gist. I was some line delivery I think felt like flat with some of the lines, and there was also they also had a ton of super cringy lines.
They didn't. That was like their Gen Z humor or like playing.
I disagree.
Like, remember the one?
Bad writing.
Wait, no, but do you remember the one scene where she's talking to someone and she just goes, "What?" or something? I can't remember, but she just goes, "What?" and then dies. I think I can't remember what that was. I was like,
I think I know.
"Oh, what is this?"
The worst writing moment, in my opinion, is when we get introduced to the characters and they exposit the personalities of each other to each other. Clover, you're depressed because we're going on this trip for your sister after you tried killing yourself and then your mom also died. Abe, isn't it crazy that we've only known you for 3 months and you're just dating this girl who dates things a lot? I hated that. That was like the epitome of bad.
What was the other guy's name?
Max, stop fawning over her. She needs space. That's why she broke up with you initially.
Yeah. You're doing this isn't gonna win her back.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah.
Dude, he literally unironically says, guys, you're gonna have to take a look at this.
It does.
I cannot believe that. I like David Sandberg. I think he's a really funny guy. I enjoy the Annabelle movie that he made, and I do actually enjoy both Shazam movies. However, I do feel like this movie was a checklist of horror cliches, and he just was crossing them off as the movie went on. And I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be done on purpose, like each iteration was supposed to be some sort of horror movie cliche. However, if that was done on purpose, I didn't like it. It just didn't hit for me. That's essentially all of my notes. The bad guy scene was really bad. And honestly, if you go watch Moist Critical's video, he spends 5 minutes talking about how bad that scene is at the end with the coffee.
Yeah.
So
it kind of is. Like, can I say something for the game?
Yeah, go ahead.
So in the game, I think you actually, some things are coming back to me. It's getting a little confusing, but so when you start, I think you're talking to that guy. I'm just going to call him the proctor because it feels like he's proctoring this whole experiment.
He is.
You talk to him and he's very mysterious. And then all of a sudden you start playing the game and you start controlling certain characters. But after like separate, I'll say after certain acts, like it splits up the game, you go back and you talk to the guy like as if he's like a therapist, which he kind of is. And you go back and forth. Then you go back to play the game and then you're talking to him again. And you're back to the game and you're talking to him again. And there was none of that in this at all. I guess you could say once with Clover. Oh
yeah, where he walked over her and said like, "Can't stand still."
Yeah, but I mean like actually in the room with the TV screens. That only happens the one time you see it, and that happens multiple times in the game. Like you have multiple discussions that like keeps on like confusing you even more and more, or at least giving you like hints. But
that would have
you see it once and then he dies. It was so.
That would have been really cool because like I can kind of picture what you mean because they do a very similar thing in Control. Not in like they do chapters essentially of like a story, but you don't get like interjections between the chapters. It's like sometimes whenever you're walking around and you like see a clue on the wall, the board like shoots in like a kind of like a TV static kind of way, and it like gives you a hint to what you're supposed to do in the game or something like that. Or the previous director comes in and gives you like a very vague message, and that's kind of what I'm getting a vibe related to that is that would have been so cool in a movie like this if it wasn't so
could have
fucking generic, dude. It was so, and then they were unbeatable. Like they beat him with a chair at the beginning and he didn't even flinch, but they hit him with 3 chairs and apparently that kills him. Like that.
Everybody has a limit.
Everyone does have a limit, Skylar. You're right. 3 was his.
What if one chair was his limit? He could take one chair at a time.
I still want to know who it was.
show, you know,
Yeah, with
Hammer or whatever.
yes, the hammer. That's what it is. Muscle Man.
Yeah, that's what I picture.
They use all of his furniture. His weakness is furniture, Zach.
That
Fine.
really upset me. And then
Yeah.
they had that, like, literally 5 minutes before the scene I'm about to talk about, they showed the video clip of Max stabbing the Wendigo in the brain, and he was like, "Why won't you die?" And then she stabs her sister with a tiny spike through the center of her chest, and then that's dead. Where is
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't look at the screen because they showed the Wendigo afterwards. Like, is it going to turn its head?
I thought it was going to get back up. I was like, oh, this
Like,
clearly it's not dead, because they literally just watched a video showing it getting stabbed in the brain, and then it stood up. Like, what the fuck? It didn't.
maybe you just need a heart.
The weakness is in the chest.
Oh, you're right.
Right. What? Well, I mean, the heart is kind of in the middle. It's like middle right.
You're
So,
right. But you know what's also really important to the human body?
that if you're dead,
Counter argument: are they technically human anymore?
I think they still are. I think they still are. They're not like zombies. They're just
They were basically zombies. They were essentially zombies.
yeah, but like I don't fucking know. I don't know. I'm not even.
They can hear pretty well.
Yeah,
They can hear pretty well.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah,
Oh, you're being serious.
they can't.
I thought you genuinely were. I thought you were trying to make a joke after I said they can hear pretty well, and you say, "Huh?"
Oh, that was good.
My fault.
No, for real.
My last note is that, was it just me or was Abe the only one who was actually like
Enjoyable.
at some points relatively smart about like
The thing,
It was a little funny here and there, though.
it's like just and one
it was the only good character, especially at the end whenever he actually got in the car and was like, "Are we fucking just gonna
Yeah.
like
let's get here another night. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, yeah. And then he was
I
like,
understand like that they're friends, but I get where he was coming from whenever they were like, only one has to die, four can survive, and he's like, well, she brought us here. Like, she brought us here.
"Her fault. It's our fault." Yeah,
Yeah.
because like also he's only been there for 3 months. He just not there.
No, exactly. He's like, I don't know you guys at all.
But back water wall and humor thing. Another one that was like a Gen Z humor.
Chandler, when he said that, he was like, that's called something. It's cool though. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
What do you say? Water door?
He's like, it's
Or
Water wall.
That's a water.
water wall. That was it.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
be what it's actually called.
But
Now, as far as we know.
a piece of Gen Z humor that I just kind of realized is whenever Abe sent Clover into the woods, he's like, "Yeah, she's 100% there. Go, like she's waiting for you."
Yeah.
And then the girlfriend like stabbed, like pickaxed him through his like his stomach, and sat there. And then the mask guy came up, and she went, "Him first." Like that was definitely Gen Z humor in my mind, 100%. But I just remember that one now because I'm trying to recall all the scenes that Gabe was in that which he did something smart, and
That's
there he got a lot. He also had
okay.
this and that.
I just heard the Discord noise. Was that you, or was that something else?
No.
Okay.
I didn't do any Discord noise.
Sorry, you guys have the controls in which you can.
Yeah, you have access to it too, bro. You have access to it
No,
too.
without the audience seeing. It's not shocking if I do it. Okay. There we go. I know that was you. I don't think it.
What?
That sounds.
What do you mean, bro? I got my phone. My hands are occupied. See, both hands on the phone. Whatever.
What?
That's one hand. His other hand.
Playing Squirrel Girl.
Buddy, okay.
But I think that the one Megan girl, I didn't like her just like spiritually feeling things out and getting information correct all of the time.
Yeah, that was
She's like, I spiritually feel the next clue, and
that was just a faux show.
that was
Where's the? I feel like she never laughed much at all.
no. I mean, she was possessed that one time. She said, "Don't let it in." That was helpful.
What did we learn though? Because all it said was "Don't let him in." Of course, it
Yeah, I mean, it would have been. It would have been helpful, but they did let him in.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like I laughed more at this movie than I was scared. Because like the parts in which it was really bad was pretty funny.
I think
And not a lot of the jump scares were super obvious.
Mhm.
And
It was very gory, wasn't it?
it was.
I was not surprised.
Yeah, they had brains just splattered on the.
Yeah, okay. Now that I think about it, yeah.
He
Like
got smashed in the face.
oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
okay. Okay, yeah, I've always
Did you like? And you like how they
bro? They were like,
oh they did it, yeah, okay. But I don't think that's gory, that's goofy as fuck though.
it was goofy.
Yeah, what? That was one of the parts that me and Lily laughed at. Is whenever the first explosion happened. We were like, "What?"
Awesome. That was my favorite part of the movie. I was like, okay, if this movie keeps up like this, then maybe I'll like it more, but it did not.
It didn't.
I
Like, remember when everyone was dead, Max drank the water and he just said, fuck you to the Wendigo? I wanted him to, like, run up and grab it and then explode on the wall.
Oh,
That's what he was gonna do. He didn't.
But no, he just said, fuck you, and then exploded.
Did you like how they kept the damage from their previous deaths?
I did
Like,
think that.
if they got bit in the eye, they would have black eye.
It definitely was a good
Yeah.
detail. I did enjoy that. I don't know. Didn't go anywhere because, like, they didn't start developing their Wendigo powers based off of, like, what their deaths were. It just was kind of whatever the random monster they wanted to turn into, whether it be zombie, werewolf, or possessed ghost demon thing. Did they ever, like, describe what was, like, what... Like, I know it was Clover's depression, but, like, what caused someone to go into what monster direction?
I think you meant to you mentally deteriorate. That's how it is in the game, at least.
Correct. But, like,
Like,
what determines what monster you get?
I think it's only the Wendigo. That they're
Correct.
all.
They're all Wendigo, but, like, they're not all the same. Like, you can't tell me that big thing is the same thing as...
Those are different. I have no clue what those were at all. I'm just
Same.
honestly omitting them from my brain as if I never saw them because
But it's in the movie.
they're just fucking thrown in there for no purpose at all. But giant monster makes no sense other than, like, guess they put in the movie because it's like can't leave. You have to fight it. You have to figure out how to escape naturally. You can't cheat the system. That's what that big monster was.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other one, like in the tunnel.
There wasn't
Yeah,
big
the tunnel's-
monster in the tunnel.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
More monsters shit.
That was that. You know what? I'm just gonna say I think it was a camera glitching because the camera glitched on his phone multiple times. Do you
It
remember?
wasn't on the camera.
It was on
Was
the
it?
camera.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just gonna say
I don't think it's glitching. I saw that thing stand up.
I think it was referencing Smile 1. Chandler's all trying to...
I see that. I see that.
I actually think it might have been an It Follows reference because it was a very similar kind of approach to, like, the
Oh yeah.
walking through the door and It Follows,
Yeah.
However, does not explain the fact that it is a different beast than the Wendigo. The spiky teeth, they probably are all Wendigo, but specifically the spiky teeth one, like, what determines monster? Also, there was a literal ghost that possessed the woman. So, like, who turned into the ghost? How does one turn into
This is so much.
turning into a zombie monster?
I have no clue.
I think it might have been some of his different experiments. He does specialize in fear. So maybe the different scenarios.
Juice.
This one, gonna get the ghost treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this one a zombie. Here, have zombie pudding.
I'm so upset that they never explained the guy with his mask. I
didn't think so.
In the first game, it's like kind of the guy that's pranking everyone. He still doesn't. He never actually hurts or harms anyone.
They harmed him in this movie.
Yeah,
A lot.
I wish like they didn't break the face at least, so I could at least see who it was behind the mask. But then again, I guess if it doesn't matter at all, then why the point is it even in the movie?
With that climax,
Chandler. Sorry.
he stabbed somebody in the eye, and the eyeball was left on the knife. I didn't like that.
I
a lot.
loved that. I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, that's a good.
In doubt opinion, I hated that. It made me super uncomfortable.
What I thought when that happened was
Don't say I.
creative idea. They definitely took that from the game. No way this came up with that.
The one where the spike went through the eye.
Yeah.
You don't have to act it out, Chandler. It was pretty self.
I'm sorry. I didn't notice it. I didn't notice the eyeball part, but
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
know, a little like ball hanging on the end. Everybody might be doing. Ew. So it was pretty.
No, speaking of people in theater, mine was so funny.
My theater was silent except for the guy sitting right next to me who was pounding his leg like a fucking beast, dude. Did not stop bouncing it the entire time.
Tapping it.
Yeah, and he was moving at like Mach speed. It was crazy. His girlfriend. No, this was actually really funny. His girlfriend turned over and was like, "Hey, can you stop making as loud of a noise?" And he just went, "No." It was awesome.
I was gonna say, you know, like the little joke where it was with Abe, and they're talking about how long he had been with his girlfriend, or with what was her name? I remember absolutely no one's names. Nina.
Yeah, I remember.
And then said something about like if their relationship falls through, can he get the previous girl?
Yeah, I thought that was
or something like that. Yeah. Well, one guy actually audibly laughed, and so everyone else laughed. Yeah.
Dude, whenever I went to go see, I can say this because I'm not going to put this in the video, but whenever I went to go see the Lord of the Rings anime movie, there was like I don't remember what moment it was, but there was like a sort of hype moment that happened that referenced the original movies, and some guy in the beginning of our theater went, everyone started fucking cackling. It was awesome. That was really great. I really enjoyed that theater experience watching that movie.
The person beside me was the before the collective ew. He was smacking on some popcorn. Like I swear that bag was gone, and like was that before the movie started? I think I like the largest size.
Me too, dude.
Because I heard he got went through the bag to the egg and popcorn.
Dude, I actually get a little self-conscious whenever I have popcorn because I know how loud it is. So I'm usually waiting until there's an action scene, and then I gorge myself, bro. Then I go crazy.
Depends on the movie. Like during A Quiet Place, I got a small bag because I was like, it's like a quiet movie. I cannot just be.
Yeah. That's when you gotta do like one popcorn at a time.
I do go,
One cold, and then other than that, you're like,
yeah, it's just scooping it going out. I basically hit all the notes that I had. If you guys wanted to get into numbers for this thing,
I was about to say I'm ready for number.
I might have one or two things. Technically,
we never explained the plot of the movie.
There is no plot, bro. I feel like they running around.
Take it away.
They step into this house because the lady's sister is missing and she wants to find it, and then things
Find
happen
it.
to them. Scenario for 5 times, but it's actually 13. But this time they make it.
And the previous people didn't.
I didn't make it the previous times because it was too hard. But on the last time, it was.
They said they weren't leaving without everybody. They had to make sure they all had.
So they locked in, and every single monster locked out and became less violent.
It matters more whenever you only have one chance or one life. Come on, don't you remember that from the movie? That was a pretty big plot.
You're right. That's why he swung harder on his
What's the furniture?
on the furniture at the last time than the first time when he didn't know. When he didn't know about it.
He knew.
He knew. Come on, we all knew he knew.
He's like, come on, why are there multiple names in there? They aren't signing in multiple times.
Chandler, what other points did you have about this flick?
There was one minor Easter egg, but do you remember whenever Clover was hiding? So she had just kind of stabbed her sister, and then she was hiding, and then the ghoul creeped up right beside her and was just like looking left and right. And why was she covering the light and not turning it off? Two,
because of them.
Two, that was actually, I'm fairly certain, like Drake from the game. I do remember a time when the Wendigo was right next to you and you had to stay quiet and couldn't move, and then it ran off. So like, I do think that there were some Easter eggs radically.
Up and pointing the light down the fucking hallway where it was looking. Huh?
They can't see.
Oh, they can't see? When did they say that?
No.
Oh, you know what? I think
That's why she didn't turn it off.
they kind of go blind. They kind of go. If she went black, or you play,
They say that.
Yeah.
Why did they say they couldn't see?
They don't like show it like right beside them, like looking around. You can see their eyes completely.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I saw their eyes were glazed. I just thought that's what they'd be, you know?
Yeah, they're blind.
I think
You're supposed to know that.
what Zach, are they supposed to?
I mean,
they, like you everything
They didn't like show them.
you can definitely figure it.
Figured out that they were blind, you know? Like it wasn't
I figured it out.
it wasn't like they chucked a rock in front of its face and it didn't move and they're like, oh, we can use that.
Well, at multiple times whenever it was around, they were like, "Be silent." They didn't say, "Get her," like you know.
But that's every horror movie. It's like, guys, the dinosaur can't see us if we're really quiet.
Or like Drax, if I stand still, you can't see me.
Yeah, exactly. Or giraffes.
No, they're blind.
Drax,
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Drax.
That's why cover instead of the click, and then why she was able to flash it down the hall again because they can't see.
That's fair.
I mean, why?
I'll rewatch the movie and look for that next.
Why? Come
Yeah, like rewatch the movie with that information, and then play the game directly after.
The game, I think, the remastered version, I think would be fun. Zach,
No.
I do think remastered.
I'm sorry. I don't.
It's probably like full price, to be honest.
Yeah, that's also worse. Like, I have no interest in anything related to this franchise after this movie I've watched.
Wait until the Quarry comes out, then we'll do it again.
They're still making a sequel. This thing is
Yeah,
going
it
to
made
go.
money.
It's going to be
Well, the movie cost 3 pennies and a corn chip. The budget went to that big beast. Everything else was like very obvious. I
Funny budget.
don't know. I don't actually. That's a good question, really.
Someone, if I know better, someone said 15 or 50 million. There was a 5, and I think it could be.
I really hope it's like 30. I really hope it's 30 and there's just no 5 in it after.
I swear, bro. I was watching a video yesterday at the gym. Listened to a video, and the guys, it's a PlayStation.
15 million. I was gonna say I'd be shocked if it's 50 because like there was
15 million is crazy.
no, it is not because okay, think about it. They had 2 locations. Well, 3 locations. They had the flashback scene with the kitchen room. They had the gas station, and then they just had the main house, and then a bunch of nothing like rooms that they could build inside of some sort of studio and pretend like it was a cramped space. And then there were 6 characters in the movie in total, and then all of the prosthetics looked very prosthetic-y.
7.
What?
7, the sister.
Oh, the sister, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was a pretty cheap movie. I guarantee the most expensive thing was the big guy. That scene of the big guy.
Yeah, but it was in art too. You didn't have to like put so much detail in the guys. Blackout.
Hence the 15 million.
Oh, what was it? There was one like, I don't know if it was a FaceTime or an old. I think it might have been the old video they watched. That looked completely terrible. It actually looked like just a green screen behind, and they like
Which
threw
scene?
it in. Do you remember? I think it was the opening scene. They were watching her last, like the girl's last video before she disappeared.
Yeah.
It was on the one girl's phone. It looked terrible.
Yeah.
I just remember that now.
Dude, oh
I was like, oh my god.
that actually made me remember the photo scene that pissed me off the most out of like any like this is probably my least favorite scene in the entire movie. Okay, so we get the camera shot of everyone's dead and someone is recording. We think it's Abe because it's Abe's phone, but then we see Abe and he's dead. Ooh, who could it be? Who has the phone? But then the guy comes in and he walks into the mining room, and then the lady that gets tortured a lot. I do not remember Gabby. Megan. So
Gabby, Lily's roommate.
she then puts the phone on something and then says into the phone, "I'm going to investigate." Who are you saying that to? You know it's a time loop. You know it's a time loop, so everything's going to get reset, and you do not know that this stays. Why are you vlogging right now? Where did this go?
It might work. Could have taken the phone with her.
So are you
So much more.
Are they saying every time they forgot and then remembered the camera? And
But they clearly remembered because in the scene where they exploded, they sat and talked about the stuff that they remembered.
yeah, I have no
Hey, whatever. We're 50 minutes in. We should get.
explanation. Yeah.
All right, Zach, you go first. I bet yours is probably the highest, so let's start off with the
It
highest
might
first.
be actually. It might be the highest. So I ranked this movie. This was Baby's first horror movie. If someone has never seen a horror movie before, show them this and they're going to be like absolutely terrified. It hits every single cliche that you've ever seen in a horror movie before. I am bewildered that this movie came out in 2025. Like it's as if they never heard of a cliche before in their life. The cinematography was shockingly bad because I don't remember the name, but I know the cinematographer and I know he's like a good guy. There wasn't even like the only scenes that I thought were like relatively cool looking were the ones inside of the clock. And that's like shocking because I feel like there's a lot of really cool things you could have done with like a time loop concept. So that was insanely disappointing. The story was just like all over the place with some of the worst writing I've ever seen for character development. My enjoyment was at an all-time low because Sinners was one theater down to my left. So I could have just got up and walked over at any point, but I did not. It was not scary. Every single jump scare was the most predictable that you could have ever possibly had in a movie. And the end upset me because they attempted to explain things while also having one of the worst villain monologues and worst villain deaths in the history of movies. It is a solid 2 out of 10 because it definitely could have been worse. However, it is not fucking good. Whatever.
Is that your overall score?
Yeah.
The 2 out of 10.
2.
Okay. That's significant. That's 2 points higher than I thought you were going to give it. Yeah, let's go to why.
I don't think I have a Z. I think 1's the lowest on my scale. It is one of those movies I've seen in a very long time, though. This is so much worse than Smile 1 and 2.
Not 2.
I have a better outlook.
Never mind.
Not Joker.
I lied. Joker 2. My fault.
I had a better outlook on this movie than I expected. I think I keep going to movies like this with the lowest expectations possible. I was expecting this movie to be complete and utter dog shit, and I was telling everyone I was telling everyone who knew I was going to watch the movie that I wasn't expecting anything great because they would ask, "What are you looking forward to it?" No, I wasn't. But the movie exceeded my expectations surprisingly. I was expecting something really bad. I get scared easily, bro. All right. Maybe I'm a toddler. Maybe I shouldn't be in the drinking age, bro. Because damn, that scared me.
It's whatever.
And I thought it was gory and entertaining. I thought it was actually kind of entertaining. Yeah, there was no structure, and I was infuriated because I was trying to make connections to the game when I obviously knew it was different, and a lot of things were just upsetting in that regard. But standalone, if you've never seen the game, I think it's. I mean, coming from me, bro, it's. I know, but you have to hear me out. Hear me out. The humor or the horror, it got to me. It didn't get to you, and I didn't think that the dialogue was overly bad. Yes, it was kind of cheesy, but I thought it was kind of funny at times, especially with Abe. Yeah, Abe. I'm gonna give it a 6. I think it's a 6.
That's a really high number.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of Chan.
Like Smile 1 though, so we're chilling.
Yeah, that's
Smile 1 was crazy when I saw it.
No,
At the time when I saw it,
rating you've ever had.
Hey, look, honestly, in retrospect, that 9 is from the time I saw it in theaters with Sky. Now it's probably not, but it still was hella, like, Sky and I walked out of that theater thinking it was awesome. I remember us talking about it. We thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Now it's definitely not as good. But my 9 is reflective of then. But should be redacted.
So I'm going to piggyback off of Handler.
Actually, 10.
After 45 minutes, it kind of felt like it went really fast. Like this movie didn't feel like it was like an hour and 45 minutes. It felt like it was kind of 50, which was really weird. Because I remember sitting down and being like, okay, because I remember Lily being mad at me at one point for something scary that happened in the movie, and I looked at my phone to see how much time she had left because I knew the relative start time of the movie and I knew how long it was, so I was like, oh, you still have an hour. And then it was 10 minutes past, and I was they were on the 13th night, and I was like. And then I checked again, and it was wow, there's 10 minutes left in this movie. So I thought it was a little more, it was much more entertaining in the second half. with all the chase and like it kind of changing from the horror to more of like a mystery. How do we get out? But there still was some cringy stuff, and I probably would not see this again. At least like for another like year or two, and I don't even know the context in which I would watch this one over just playing the game. But I still
Infinite amount of horror movies that do this better.
not an infinite. There's definitely some that are worse.
Finite amount.
Well, I meant there's definitely some that are worse. But I gave this a 5.5 because I expected this movie to be a like genuine Joker 2 remake, like genuinely terrible. And Lily's on her phone because she is so bored in the movie, but that didn't happen. So, and she was pretty entertained.
So I think the trick here, right, is to go with low expectations. Because didn't you say you were excited, Zach?
No, Chandler, I can't believe
You're joking.
the sarcasm in that. That was wild. You were like, I saw, look, I thought, and I was like, oh boy, I'm excited for Until Dawn. I saw all of the 5.
Dude, I took you so seriously. I thought you were gonna have a good time. I thought you were genuinely excited. I was like, damn, you know what? Maybe my expectations are too low for this movie.
You got me a little excited too, but now I noticed that was fake.
I saw all of the 5 out of 10 reviews, and I was like, oh boy,
I did like it.
I'm really happy I'm watching.
Why is it look at the
best rated movie of the year? Woo, yay! And then I went into the theater and I thought to myself, holy shit, this is way worse than I expected. And I was not.
You went in thinking it was gonna be a 5 out of 10 because you looked at the other people's reviews.
I thought too highly of the movie. I thought way too highly of the movie going into it. I should have thought it was a 1.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta rate it. Well, actually, no, never mind. That's not true. I was gonna make a similarity between like Warner Brothers and how expensive their budgets are, and this has much less expensive budget. But there's a lot of good indie films out there, so
There's a lot
take that back.
films out there. I'm getting movie news ready.
Indie films aside, and then make your point, Chandler.
I forget my point. My bad. I realized my point wasn't gonna make sense, so I just like threw out the window immediately.
Point was that it had such a low budget, so
Yeah.
the low score is relative of budget.
I just want
Not the actual movie itself compared to a Warner Brothers movie.
low budget. I'm giving it more leeway, is what I meant to say. But
Every horror movie has a low budget.
yes, they do. Especially the Winnie the Pooh or Blood and Honey.
That sounds terrible. I remember that coming
They
out.
They are, but they have a universe.
Well, wasn't that only made because there was a technical time period in which Winnie the Pooh's copyright was up and it was now public use and somebody used it immediately?
The issue is that you can't have Winnie the Pooh with a red shirt on.
Yeah.
I think. So as long as it was checkered, like it's played.
Pooh specifically without a shirt
Yeah.
is up, so you can use him for use.
Or Steamboat Willie. That's now for use.
Mickey Mouse, yes. Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Zach, would you like to get into news?
Yeah, the writer of Godzilla -1 says that the next movie is expected to start filming in late 2025 with a much larger budget, which is very... So the thing that I sent you guys separately, the murderer of murder... Wait. The fucking animated Predator thing. I think it's called Murder of Murder.
Oh,
Killer of Killers. That was it. Yeah. That's actually a TV show. That's an anthology TV show that
just saying.
4 episodes following like Vikings, Japanese, like ancient samurai, wartime period stuff. The other, it's still being directed or produced by the guy who did Prey. However, we're also getting a movie coming out relatively soon, directed by the guy who did Prey, and that's called Predator Badlands. I'm really interested in that. Did you guys watch the trailer for that this week by chance?
Is that the animated thing you
No,
showed
this
us?
is a live action one. I'm super interested in that animated one. I think that's
Predator Badlands?
yeah. Predator Badlands is like, I think the main character is actually a predator this movie instead of like someone trying to fight against it. And it's fighting against like some sort of bigger creature, you know, which is interesting because they really haven't done that other than like Predator versus Aliens or something like that. They haven't had the Predators fight up against something that's stronger than them. They've only ever had like Predators fight against like humans, and the humans have to find a way to like beat the Predators. It just seems interesting. Like it actually might be a good movie. I know that sounds like fucking stupid, but with this kind of like genre,
I'll watch that.
it might actually be good. I'm interested in it, especially since the last one was like really good. I really liked Prey. I think that was phenomenal. Whenever
That movie's great.
you've watched it, we watched it together, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we? Either together or like we definitely talked about it. I know that. I think we watched it. I remember watching it separately.
I love that movie. I love that movie so much. That's definitely the best Predator movie. So this isn't necessarily it's media adjacent news. So someone recently got in a lot of trouble because they tried to bring a monkey bomb from Call of Duty Zombies onto a plane, and therefore the TSA had to make an announcement. They said, wait, where is it? You are not allowed to bring any items that are replica weapons onto a plane, no matter how cool or collectible they are.
Oh, but it's a
It's the monkey bomb, guys. Come on.
It's not like that. I actually have a piece of news, but I don't think either of you can really hear it. I know Chandler can't, 100%. So Chandler, Gay made the statement. Writer of JJK.
Oh, I know about it. Yeah, you could talk about it. That Gojo would have won.
I hope he didn't hear that. But no, the statement was technically he could have dodged it.
Oh, okay.
But he wasn't, he kind of was like, oh, once Maharaga was defeated, there's nothing that can bypass my infinity, so I win. So then he let down his guard. And then he got cut and it could go through. So, and Gege said like if he knew that something like was off, he would have been able to dodge. He probably would have been able to dodge the fatal blow.
Yeah.
So, which a lot of people were mad at and a lot of people weren't mad at. I think it makes sense. That makes sense because every time he's lost, he's let down his guard.
I think that makes
So his biggest flaw was thinking he was actually too strong. So
I agree with that. I like that. I think that makes sense too, especially for his character type because he's like, I'm the best.
yeah. But that was why one piece of news because that's very, very, very important.
Come back, Chandler.
Your hands were off screen, Zach, so I didn't know what you were doing.
I was pulling.
Yeah, I just saw the R. Oh, you're pulling Sky for me.
Oh, on my screen, I'm.
Yeah, you were pulling me as well.
Come back.
Stop pulling me. Oh, I guess I was probably going the wrong way. I think I was.
Guess we're gonna start with it. There we go.
This is so inverted, bro.
So we got. I don't actually have a lot of news. There was other news that came out this week. I just didn't screenshot it because I kind of forgot to. But one thing that
It's like a perfect movie.
What?
Centers being like a perfect movie, the highest in like years.
The fact that we decided to go see Until Dawn instead of Sinners is insane to me. And we can't even see it next week because we're seeing Thunderbolts, which is wild.
I'm excited for that.
I am excited for Thunderbolts. However, I also really want to see Sinners. So Spider-Man apparently will not be physically acted by Tom Holland basically at all in the next Avengers movie. Only voiceover, which means that we're not going to see his face like
Ever.
at all in the movie.
Or like any body part, probably.
He has his mask on.
Yeah,
And so probably someone eyeing him because I guess he doesn't need to. And so
yeah, like Tom Holland's stunt double or something is going to play or something.
save that money.
And this is why.
He's filming other movies. He's filming.
One is,
I'm going to see
I guess depending on the movie.
Nolan.
Yeah, that's right.
I was gonna say, depending on the other movie and the action that could or could not be potentially in it, that stunt double might not be needed.
I think Christopher Nolan is probably more worthy than a Marvel movie, if we're being honest here.
Well, I just meant the stunt double.
At this point, yes.
What you mean? Yeah, actually, because he might be taken away too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
What if he has multiple stunt doubles?
He probably.
It probably does.
All right. Do we want to move into the next segment?
Well, I have one more question.
Oh, I wonder what that could be. Make this joke every single time.
Get plenty of time to get your Koros out.
Yeah,
What do you got?
we have plenty of time. Actually, we're an hour and 5 minutes over. No, not over. We're 5 minutes over the hour.
Damn, this is a really long.
Yes. Yes.
What have you been watching? You finally did the yes. You finally answered.
Let me enlighten you. So me and G have 2 episodes left of Fire Force. We got to the point in which Shinra is almost done fighting against Sho. It's really cool. G's pretty into it now. It still has a booby problem, and it keeps consistent with that. It's just what the show is. You just got to deal with it. I played a lot of Rivals actually this week. I've been having a variety in characters. I played a lot of Black Ops 6 Zombies recently. Chandler, I'm about to prestige again. Just saying, if it's crazy, I know. I prestige.
Well, I guess a prestige once. I did prestige.
I'm very close to being done with every AR, not including 2 of the DLC ARs. I did do 2. Okay, there are 4 DLC ARs. I did 2 of them because I enjoy them, and then I only have 1 other base AR left to have that completely Mystic Gold. I'm 2 left on SMGs, and I don't remember the rest of it. I'm done with LMGs and sniper rifles.
You still shotguns?
I didn't even start shotguns apart from any of the Easter egg runs that we've done. But yeah, I basically barely used the ASG, which is the shotgun that you use.
Mm-hmm.
Me and G finished a Sign of Affection. It was very good. However, there will never be a second season because I Googled it, and apparently the last 5 minutes of the anime are fan fiction and completely made up for the anime and negate everything that happens in the manga following it. So that makes me believe that the anime team was like, all right, we're not going to make another one of these, so we're just going to wrap that shit up as soon as possible. So yeah, that's definitely what happened, which is fine. I like the way it ended enough. Like, I'm okay with the 12 episodes that we got. However, I wouldn't have been opposed to seeing more of the story, especially since there's more of the story to tell. But what is that? I am 2 episodes in of Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. I think it's solid so far. I'm excited to finish it eventually. I watched another episode of Space Dandy, and Chandler, I have something to talk to you about real quick. So there's a show that you've watched that you've recommended that you said that you like, and I could see how down the line you could totally do that. However, there's a quote that you've had on the first podcast that we were here that you've ever been on with Pulp Fiction, in which you did not like the movie because of one very uncomfortable scene. However, the first episode of Dan to Dan was very weird. And I know
It was hard to get to that show.
Yeah, I saw what you said. However, you like that show, and you do not like
It's good.
And that was very weird. That was very.
It was very weird. It was.
She's in high school, Chandler.
I know. Look, I told you it was weird. I'm not saying I did it. I said it was very difficult to get through that episode.
Yeah.
But I don't think you definitely come across those aliens again, right? That's what they were, the aliens.
Yes.
But never in a situation like that. It's still off. Like, I think actually cliffhanger. It never ends. Like
the season.
Sakamoto Days. So it must be like a phase 1, phase 2.
Yeah.
But it ends with, I'm not gonna say if you're watching, nothing bad happens, but it's just like the aliens are creepy fuckers and they say things that are just disgusting. So it's not a bad show. I think it's a beautiful anime. I recommend watching.
The animation is super clean. However,
but it is
animation.
I hate that stuff.
Virtually naked high schooler.
Yes, bro. She's literally in just undies, isn't that? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a popular.
I'm very.
show. It is a popular show.
Yes. I'm very confused how like animators draw that so willy nilly. You know,
Japan, they like that shit. So like,
I know I know it's there.
They do. But have you ever watched one of these anime? Almost every single anime has some sort of weird pedophilic shit in it.
Like Brooke, like, may I see your panties? Not.
Well, that's not pedophilic. That's just like perverty, you know?
Oh yeah,
Like-
perverted.
No, I feel like they do a lot of that shit with high schoolers in anime. It's gross as fuck.
No.
There's a lot of manga at least that get caught.
That's why I don't like My Hero Academia
Yeah,
that much
that's fair.
because what they do to one girl character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's actually all of them, not just the one.
And Mintus guy, whatever his is that what his name? The purple ball.
You know,
Minata. Yeah, I think that's but
Bad.
kind of foul. But
He should die too.
I definitely have something.
Yeah.
I definitely have something to mention that's kind of in line with what we're discussing during what I've been watching. So to make it
One sec, that reminded me. I have one final thing. I watched My Hero Academia Vigilantes, like whatever is over here. Yeah.
okay. What
What's the relation that? Yeah, I just am like waiting for the shit that I'm excited for in the manga to come up. I liked it.
I would like to apologize for my non-paying attention. It sounded like somebody dropped dead upstairs. It was just a gigantic crash. And then I heard steps walking away. And I went, so either somebody just died or they just they fell.
Hey, it's the noise from Until Dawn. Remember the very beginning of Until Dawn? You heard 2 thuds, and then Ina went to go check, and Abe was dead.
Oh yeah.
The killer's above you, bro. It's the ghost room.
Animations.
You'll do better.
Yeah, but I would like to apologize. It sounded, so I used to have things to hang in my shower to hold my stuff. And it sounded like that fell. And I went,
Oh, the caddy?
oh, it was just probably that. And I was like, wait, I haven't had those in months. So that wasn't me. And then I heard steps. So
Maybe they well, actually you said that already.
now they probably dropped something. They probably dropped like a bottle of something. And it's just and there's like a vent like right there. So the probably were like vent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's everything I watched this week.
Well, Chandler,
Yeah.
what have you been watching?
Oh, I was gonna say that yes. I've been watching a ton, bro. Not Vigilantes though. I forgot about that. I did pick up on a new anime called. I'm definitely gonna watch it after, not after this directly, but within the coming days. Moonrise. Has anyone heard of that?
The story is really bad, but the animation is
Really?
Yeah.
I think I got like 5 minutes of it before I fell asleep last night, so I'll have to pick up on that whenever I do. But it's on Netflix. All of it's released. The first season so maybe, who knows? I think the concept's kind of cool. There's like criminals on the moon, and then they like terrorize Earth somehow.
I guess this will be something for you to look for, but like I was told that there's something that just kind of like happens in the plot and you're supposed to be okay with it, even though it explicitly tells you that it can't happen that way or something like that. I know I'm being vague, but I also don't want to like steal it from knowledge that I have. But like characters gather and they say we can't go in together, and then they do, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
No. I appreciate you being vague.
And I'm going off the comments from Instagram, so it definitely could be not true.
Okay, we'll see. Maybe I saw the 5 minutes and I forgot, but that Fire Force, I'm caught up. Man, these last couple episodes have been annoying.
Booby wise?
No, it's because like something cool is kind of going on. You know, it's like where I'm at right now is a fight, but they're doing all the little fights that are boring, and they're making it a full damn episode. So I actually have to wait like 4 weeks until I get to the good stuff.
That's just how that's the anime, bro.
This is like
One Piece.
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, this is One Piece.
Can't do that. You can't.
I know. I'm not.
You gotta watch Europe fight, then Freighty fight, then Robin fight, then Sanji fight, then Zoro fight, and then Luffy.
Yeah, like that.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit. And then you go back to the other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Then you repeat the process 3 times.
That was the worst. So far, that was the worst in the Doflamingo arc, or whatever, because he did fight, and then he had to wait and
Yeah.
then fight again, like all and regardless. Okay. What?
That wasn't too much in the manga for me.
It was pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah, so
No.
yeah, I was gonna say that's not my personal worst one. The worst one is yet to come, in my opinion.
it gets worse.
Well, in my opinion, yeah, because I've only watched now 2 islands.
Yeah. He's watched
I've only watched 2. I've read, yeah, and I've read the rest.
Maybe that's why I took a break, because I realized like I can't keep doing this, like this formula, the same pattern.
Or just
Getting to me.
just read it.
Yeah,
I speaking of reading, I will get to something soon,
All right.
very soon.
Keep
And part of that is a confession, but it's not a bad confession.
keep cooking.
To Be Hero X. Has anyone heard of that?
Yes, I've heard very good things.
Yeah. So I'm on episode 3 is currently out. At first I was nervous because I'd seen stuff on Instagram before it released, hyping it up. But whenever it did release, it's very CGI-esque. It looks like it, but I don't think it is
It is.
per se. Oh, it is?
Yes, because
Well, it looks like
the
RPG.
idea is that it's supposed to be the main character can switch between different dimensions, and one of them's 2D and one of them's 3D animated.
They do animate some things in 2D, and so far he's had nothing to do with it. So I did not pick up on. I knew his powers reality. I did see that.
One can switch. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the show. I just watched the trailer.
I have seen the back and forth. I have seen both, and it is kind of interesting. But it's kind of like arcane
Yeah, that's
CGI-esque.
animated.
Yeah, it looks good. It still looks good. Yes, which made me nervous because I was like, oh god, this can't be good.
No, I think okay.
It's not Blue Lock. See,
Can be good. I just think that the usual merging of the two creates a dichotomy that doesn't fit, you know? Like if you have an almost all 2D animated show and then one character is really poorly CG animated like in DMC, it kind of takes you out of it, you know? However, if the show is entirely CG animated, then it usually is pretty good.
yeah, I haven't had any issues with this so far, but I was nervous at first
Fair.
because it didn't look like the typical, and I was like, so yeah, I'd seen so much hype around it, and then when it was CGI, I was like, God, there's no way you just blue bomb me like that. Anyways, Sinners. I wish I could have given them just money. I wish I could have bought tickets, not to go see it, just to give them money because it's that good. That's how good the movie is. It is forever. I don't know if I want to say this. I really don't know if I want to say this. It might forever be in my top 10, like Dune 2.
I fucking hate this movie. I hate Until Dawn. It will forever be one of like my core movie memories. I literally sat there the entire time just like this. I just was like,
no way you sat there, pal.
You get a whole theater behind you going crazy for stimulus.
Dude, I sat here relaxed, just in my arms crossed. What, dude? The only other time in the history of movies that I remember reacting like that viscerally to a movie was watching Thor 4 for the first time. Just sitting there, just like, hate this.
Damn.
I fucking hate this movie. The entire time. It's because Sinners is out. I was like, we should go see Sinners, and she was like, no, but like the only time you're gonna really enjoy, like the max you could possibly enjoy this movie is in theaters. Like if you're watching it at home, you're gonna hate it a lot. Turns out I hate it regardless.
Dude, imagine how much you would have hated it at home.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know if I would have hated it more or less.
At least you could have put on 2 times speed or
I
something.
could have paused it. Like, I could have got up and walked away, dude. I wanted to stand up and leave the theater so fucking bad. But, like, occasionally I just was like, what if I stand up and the scene that I miss is the one good scene in the movie? That's what I kept thinking. I was
Like, I'm blowing up.
yeah, exactly. It was whatever. Keep going, Chandler. Sorry.
Yes, you guys have to watch that movie. It's so good. I'm playing some Phasmophobia, Days Gone. I bought the game on PC, so I've been playing that.
Your
Replay.
remaster comes out
I'm having-
sweet.
So I was just completely and utterly mistaken. You were right. Days Gone's been on PC for a while, and I had just forgotten. And I'd seen remaster. I was like, oh, it's coming to PC. No, remaster's only at PS5.
Mhm.
But you could get a DLC that gives you like haptic feedback playability or like some some certain arcade modes. Actually, no, I think they made an update where you get, like, you can use the PS5 controller with your PC and it works, like the rumbling or whatever it is. But like some modes they added. That's the DLC. So the game is still pretty much out. Like, I'm just playing that. That's been fun. My buddy has a realm that he just recently invited me to, so some Minecraft. But this minor confession here, because of how I talked about this anime last week, Mushoku Tensei. Do you guys remember me mentioning this show?
No.
So it's an isekai, and it's fairly perverted because the guy is 32 years old.
I remember.
He gets reborn. So getting through those scenes is very difficult. And you want to know how I got through it?
Skill. You probably do 0.5 speed and rewatch.
Okay, buddy. Okay.
Reround.
Yeah, no, I speak.
Then again, what's this?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't think I got that right.
Yeah, I couldn't tell, so I screencast it to my TV so I could have it.
Oh, that was good.
But I finished both seasons because the story is beautiful. I've never enjoyed an anime so much, aside from I'm forgetting the pervert stuff, because it falls off. It falls off. Promise. He gets married in the show, so it falls off.
Married to a child, Chandler?
No.
Explain that.
Yeah, there's a time skip, guys.
Well, yeah, they go back in time. So they're both upgraded. So it's a time skip backwards in time. So they're isn't that more of a kind of reversal thing?
But I love the show so much that I actually went to Barnes and Noble to look if I could find the light novels to finish the story. But then, the anime, it does a pretty good job at covering the light novels, but it does miss something. So I don't know where to start, and I'm kind of been discouraged. I did ask my cousin, because he's read the whole thing. He recommended the show to me. And I asked him, does the perverted stuff go away? And he said, no, it's actually worse than the light novel. So I don't know if I'm going to read it now because of that information.
Why?
But man, it's the closest I've ever wanted to actually read a show. Which is just damn disappointed.
One Piece. Like, I thought the Stockholm should be taken over by then.
See, maybe so much, though. So much, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like you're at right now. Start at Zoe and keep going.
I finished Zoe. I'm on Whole Cake.
Okay, they started Whole Cake.
Yeah,
Better 3 arcs away.
But like, didn't you guys say that it gets? I thought the anime kind of gets good at, or is that Wano?
That's one.
Wano. Act 2.
Yeah.
That's when the anime gets good?
Yeah.
So you think I read until Wano?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because I've had
Would you like Pirate of the Times?
Okay, I might do that. Then.
Should.
Man,
Should also read Tokyo's.
Tokyo.
I just. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I agree.
I said so. I'm not gonna lie though, guys. I'm devastated. I really wish the writer of the show just wasn't so mentally fucked up. No offense to the guy, but also he is writing the story, so he's to blame.
Like several.
Gee,
Maybe you're on him, but I read him. I've had gripping the talking. I'm just an instrument.
Sorry.
No, it's the view.
Friends with the guy who made, I think it was Atomic Samurai X, and he went to jail for like 20 years for being a pedophile. And 20 years for being a pedophile in Japan is fucking crazy. Because like you get like 3 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Wait, hold up. Makes sense.
Wait, you said 20 years?
They have animes of pedophilia?
Writers are pedophiles.
Yes, and you said they went to 20 years. They got 20 years of jail.
One of them did, yeah.
And I would like to bet he really hates the amount of time.
He probably doesn't like it. I don't think anyone who goes to jail enjoys it.
Because it's over 18.
Oh. I was a good one.
I'll be here all night.
Yeah, okay, that was a good one. That was a good joke. What were you saying, Chandler?
I was just gonna say, how is like their punishment 20 years for pedophilia, but they actively like show animes of pedophilia.
Well,
kinda.
the difference is it was was like, okay, I don't think we should.
You know what I mean? Like it's like they advocate it, but also don't.
I don't think we should.
You know what I mean? We probably shouldn't. You probably should. We're very
There are several YouTube videos out there will do a way better job of breaking down this information than we will a slightly intoxicated man, Chandler, and then Skylar.
You got it mixed up, bro. We're
In my defense, I pointed right there.
I know. And then Skylar. Yeah. It's crazy. All right. That's,
Chandler and Skylar is the difference.
that is all I have to say.
That's it. All right, Chandler, ready? We'll do better this week.
We got to pick up from last week.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Sky, what have you been watching?
We did really good that time. We actually did really good.
It's hot on my end, but
Doesn't
Yeah,
count.
not on my end either. It's like actually one second.
I have to wait. You have to start, and then I have to time it with you starting because there's like a.
Oh, yeah.
So I just
Yes,
want to make sure
yes.
that the recording one is good.
It's like extra delay though, because when you're doing the countdown, then I have to wait till you're done, and then it's a delay, and then I go, and then it's a delay from there. So it's like double delay. Like,
I love it. All right, Skylar, go ahead.
oh, so this might have been my lightest week of watching ever, which is very surprising because it's like I've had time, I guess, more time than other weeks, and I've had more. But I'll start off. I've played Rivals just a couple times this week. I really haven't been on much. Played Minecraft again, like a little bit, but like nothing crazy. Like I haven't started like any new shows this week. I decided I'm going to decompress from the last one, and so I watched a couple episodes of Scooby-Doo from there, just to, nice little reset.
Yeah.
But the thing that's been taking up most of my time is the NBA playoffs. I've been trying to watch basically every game that I can.
Thought you were gonna say.
For example, there's one on in the background now, and I've been listening to it.
What's your opinions?
But yeah,
What do you think about the Steelers thing?
yeah,
I also did watch the draft. I actually watched the first 2 days, and then I was on my phone all day today for the 4th round because I wasn't at home. I had to work, and the draft started early.
you know Travis Hunter's act.
Did
I told him.
what's his name actually go back to college, or is that a meme? I can't remember his name, but the one that was skipped over in the draft. Yeah, Shadur. With
Eric Sanders.
He got drafted.
Yeah.
Oh, he got drafted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, isn't it crazy? He got drafted in the 6th or 5th round. Like,
Dude, I saw a meme that was like he retired his jersey number and then immediately unretired it.
No.
that's crazy.
The joke that I kept seeing was it's going to be crazy whenever they have to unretire his number for him to go back to college or for him to pick a different number because they already retired his.
Yeah, that was tough.
But
Dude,
like
that probably really fixed his ego a little bit,
it wasn't him. I don't think it's him. It's not. He's not that bad.
Well, I will say he lowered his draft stock at his Colorado Combine, and because he was going to be a projected high pick, and he very much so plummeted after that.
But he didn't plummet like this much.
No, he's nowhere near this. Dude, they took Dylan Gabriel. The Browns took Dylan Gabriel over Shadur.
Yeah, I know.
Wild.
And they also took Shadur.
I know that. Why'd they have 5 quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, but they're gonna Watson's on IR the whole year.
Yeah, but they just got Kenny, and they just got these 2, and they have Joe.
Those gonna mentor the 2 new ones. They're probably gonna compete and cut the whatever rookie they think is worse. I think Kenny Pickett's gonna be starter, and then for the first little bit, and then it's gonna go from there. But the Saints in the 3rd round drafted a 26-year-old quarterback who, first, he's 26 going into his first year. One of his teammates was, I think it's not Jawan Jennings. It's the Saints tight end, and he's in his 6th year in the NFL. He was in the same high school class as Trevor Lawrence, and he backed up Justin Herbert, who is younger than him and has been in the league for 3 years. And And frankly, the guy looks terrible on his tape.
They were thinking,
Yeah, I saw a combine play.
Skylar, they're a thinker.
Real play.
They know what they're doing. Just wait.
They don't. And I don't know. I think that I don't know if I want to say that, but like in my opinion, there's just no way you pass up on Shadur that much. How many other guys in the draft have like a attitude problem, and how many have worse off the field issues that got drafted in the first round alone,
Right.
and they weren't even like number 2 in their position.
Right.
They were drafted it felt very targeted.
Yeah.
Like
That's
in my eyes, this was super targeted. They picked him to send a point.
My boss was actually
And-
happy about it. He said, I think this will be good for us in the long run, us being Steelers.
I don't think so. Your quarterbacks are worse,
I
and you ended up picking one anyway. So like,
I'm happy with our quarterback pick. Very happy.
so
speaks.
Do you not care? You don't agree, Sky?
Well, Skylar's not a Steelers.
Shadur is just the better player, I think.
I was
my own better player.
I could got you to
stay around.
I forget. Like, I'm technically the only Steelers fan here. Forgot.
Yeah,
My bad.
Caden wanted Shadur.
I think everyone.
They thought they were gonna pick Shadur in the first round.
I don't mind not taking Shadur just because he just has like we said, he has ego. He's very like
You have George Pickens on your team.
George Pickens is a dog, bro.
You think he's a dog because he's on your team and he's good, bro? Shouldn't they do that?
Shadur,
George Pickens fight people.
No, that's crazy in a good way. Like he's like really good at the sport.
oh,
Okay,
he has a good.
That's good on. His teammate's better, but like Travis Hunter, the guy you guys got, that was his teammate, and
Yeah,
he won.
Travis Hunter's gonna go crazy.
And then Shadur won like that league player of the year. Like
He's not. He's good, but
no, he
I
was
do
ranked. He was the second ranked quarterback, and he was the 6th one taken off the board.
I think it's just his character scares these teams.
There's so many other characters.
But this guy's very public.
And the gambit. So like, I don't think that's a statement. Like I agree with you. Like I do think that ego's bad, but like there have been way worse out in the league.
And like, I don't even think that it's him. I think it's his dad is the worst one, and he's being punished for what his dad is saying.
I've definitely heard things about his dad.
Yeah, Dion is a pro, like Hall of Fame player.
Yeah.
So like, obviously very good, and he has an ego. But then he goes and says stuff about his sons to everybody, and then. You know, Shadur is like a good player, and he played in like a bad conference, but he's one of the 2 best Colorado players to ever come out of Colorado, and the first is Travis Hunter.
Right.
So like, it makes sense getting their jersey retired. I don't even remember the last Colorado guy to get drafted, but I'm also not huge into college football. But
It's been a while.
like, I think it is absolutely ridiculous that he fell that far. Like, the internet scene from what I saw was like 65% like, yeah, he deserves this. And like the other percentage, like 35 was like, I don't understand this. And I am with the 35. It doesn't make sense. Even if he is a character concern, Deshaun Watson is in the league. Justin Tucker is in the league. And they have actually done things off the field that are punishable by the law.
Yeah.
But we didn't find out about these things until, well, at least Justin Tucker was last.
Skylar, does it mean
That was unknown.
the ego?
I would argue that the 57 would say yes.
Totally. 100%.
Yeah.
Being
And
sarcastic. I agree. This is a little weird.
yeah, like of all the things to be like, no, we're gonna like send a message with you. This is like the worst one.
I don't know about the.
No,
It's kind of funny.
it is so stupid. It feels so reminiscent of, which I mean, it's really not because it's completely different context. But like the LeBron Bronny thing, Like people hating that Bronny got picked because his dad's there, but he was the fifth to last pick, and he's doing better. And he won he didn't win G League.
He's doing a lot better.
His averages were insanely higher than everybody else around him, and everybody was mad that he was lost.
Called what's the word?
Nepotism.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a weird word.
But he is doing.
yeah. Like Shadur got like reverse nepotism because of his dad. He almost did not get drafted.
Dude, maybe he just has a lot of baggage, bro. Maybe they're like, if we draft him, we draft his dad. We can't do this.
Shadur Sanders. If you change his name from Shadur Sanders to like Jonathan Brown, he is in the top 5. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me otherwise.
No, yeah. Maybe it's because I don't like the power.
Travis Hunter. Somebody had to. He has good strength.
I don't know.
The opening day looked good. He hit a long pass, like right on, right in the red basket, looking away. But yeah, I was very mad about it. I've been mad about it for like 3 days. I didn't think you were gonna ask about it. Kind of caught me off guard. But yeah, I've been very
I was
frustrated.
gonna ask about it.
No,
Why? Oh, damn. I feel like
I didn't think you knew.
I know it.
Sorry.
I'm not like actively
know that.
watching it, but I usually stay within the bubble enough.
I'm also on edge because I've also been watching Dodger games, and the Dodgers just lost to the Pirates yesterday, and I've been harassed
That was crazy. They striked out Shohei.
one time.
Yeah, which I did not think was ever gonna happen against the Pirates. Let's be
I
honest.
haven't watched here.
Against the Pirates?
Yeah.
Huh.
Skeens.
Damn.
Yeah, I did see the shirt.
And the next, I bet he hit a home run.
Well, that makes sense. That adds up for sure.
Yeah, but he struck out once and then just got 3 hits that were just outs. So he got bailed.
That's wild.
But yeah, I think the Dodgers are winning now. No, they actually just started losing again.
Damn.
Yeah.
Never.
So it's been a rough week for my sports teams, except for the Broncos, who had a really good draft. That was pretty awesome.
What's
We go.
what basketball team's playing right now?
The Golden State Rockets.
What's your basketball team? Lakers.
The Lakers.
Yeah, I figured so. Yeah, his sunshine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He just dropped a math class and we lost. I was so upset.
Sad news.
LeBron.
Dying.
So, any that you want to get out? I mean,
I don't think we talked enough about Shadur Sanders.
I don't think we've talked enough about.
I'm joking. I had to put it out there. He couldn't.
I think the funniest thing was I think Shiloh was clip saying, "Man, I can't wait till we get up on that podium." And it was like, "Bro, you are not getting drafted." It's like
He got drafted as a free agent or whatever.
he got picked up.
Does it count?
Shiloh,
He's on the Bucks team.
he is.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No,
Actually picked him up.
he's a free agent.
I'm actually fact checking that.
Get it.
He's like, I'm fact checking that, dude. I'm not.
Pretty sure.
Oh my god, he is.
Wild.
That's crazy. There's no way.
Is he like ass?
He's not good. He's not as good as his brother. He's not even close.
But they also
Yeah.
play different positions.
Yes.
Yeah.
They couldn't play each other's positions, so it's kind of hard to compare them. But
I mean,
it was
one was ranked.
one more than the other.
So one was ranked the 29th best in his position, and the other one was ranked second. And they went within a round of each other, and one of them wasn't drafted. So that's the big issue here.
Yeah, that's a little odd. Well, I have everything I was going to say out for this week. If Skylar wants to say anything more about the draft or his sports teams, because I'm checking out. I'm gonna go watch the basketball game after this.
Lonely. I don't know. I don't want either of these teams to win. So.
Fair. I hope both of them lose. And then next week we have Thunderbolts, which I'm pretty reasonably excited for. I hope it's not.
I'll be excited.
What was that, Sven?
Don't be excited.
You're right. I should. Well,
You're right. Keep mid expectation.
it is a
I
Marvel.
want to say low.
So I feel like the max it could be.
New age.
Yeah,
New age Marvel.
it got to be like a 6 or a 7, max 7.
I'd be like a 2.
list for going in with expectations of
No, just 2.5.
Have you guys seen the trailers?
yeah, it looks really good.
I'm curious as to why Florence Pugh jumps off the second tallest building in the world. I want to know.
Them can fly, and the villain flies, so I'm gonna assume that might have something to do with it.
Really? You got to glide to get him. What the hell?
I think I am so interested because, like, I didn't think that the fact that none of them had superpowers was gonna be like a part of the plot, but it very definitely is. Like, I'm super interested. Like,
They don't have super powers.
yeah, this it's so weird that Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four look like movies. You know, like they don't look like action flicks or Marvel movies. They're shot and acted like movies, and that gives me hope. But I'm also worried because modern Disney, modern Marvel has not been good. And just because the camera now moves instead of being stationary doesn't make it good. You know?
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about that. However, I am like hesitantly excited, kind of. I don't know. I don't know what else to think. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week with that. Hopefully, we have better opinions on it. I would be very shocked if I have a lower opinion than this week. So, other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Have a nice time. Bye.
Have a great time.